Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the invisible daily money habits that are quietly keeping you broke and exactly how to replace them with a definitive blueprint to save your very first 10 grand. If you've ever felt like you're constantly working your tail off but your bank account just isn't reflecting that effort, you are in exactly the right place. As our sources point out, saving your first $10,000 is without a doubt the absolute hardest financial milestone you're going to face. Consider this. A massive percentage of people don't even have a single $1,000 saved for a rainy day, making 10 grand a true top-tier achievement. It takes real grit, it takes discipline, and it takes a complete overhaul of how you view your daily transactions. But the magic here is that once you finally reach it, building true lasting wealth becomes exponentially easier. It literally is the ultimate tipping point for your personal finances. But here's the really fascinating part. What if I told you that reaching this monumental milestone is actually a whole lot easier than you think? The reality is that just a few completely common daily money habits are the real culprits holding you back. The math isn't the hardest part, the habits are. And fixing them is entirely within your control, starting today. So here's our 6-part escape plan. We're going to cover the hardest financial milestone, shifting your money mindset, mastering the monthly budget, defense with the emergency buffer, offense by expanding your cash, and finally, the ultimate goal, investing. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the hardest financial milestone. To really understand why this 10K mark is so tough, we have to look at the leaks. According to our sources, these are the 7 specific financial habits quietly keeping people broke. Spending before saving, living beyond your means, having absolutely no budget, ignoring emergency savings, depending on just one income, letting impulse buying drain your wallet on things you don't even need, and not investing. If you're doing even a couple of these, your money is essentially leaking out of a bucket with holes in it. In this explainer, we're going to systematically plug those holes and replace these wealth killers with a much better way. Section 2, shifting your money mindset. Okay, to kick off this turnaround, we have to address the default mode for almost everyone. Spending before you save. You get paid, you pay your bills, you buy groceries, you go out to eat, and then you try to save whatever happens to be left over, right? The problem is there's almost never anything left over. You have got to completely stop doing this. Instead, you need to immediately pivot to paying yourself first. So what does that actually mean in practice? Paying yourself first means automatically routing a slice of your income directly to your savings before you spend a single dime on anything else. By automating this process immediately on payday, you guarantee that your future self is fully funded before your current self even has a chance to spend that money. You're removing the temptation and the friction entirely. Section 3, mastering the monthly budget. Now that we're paying ourselves first, we have to master the cash flow that remains. We do that by creating a budget and following it closely by ruthlessly cutting unnecessary expenses. Look, a budget isn't a cage to keep you from having fun. It's literally just a roadmap. It gives your money clear directions so you don't end up lost and broke at the end of the month. You have to completely abandon the toxic dual habits of operating without a budget and living beyond your means. If you're swiping your card without knowing exactly how much you can afford, you are flying completely blind. Without a strict spending plan, your money will simply vanish into thin air, eaten up by $6 daily coffees or those 3 streaming services you never actually watch. A strict plan gives you total control. The absolute beauty of having a structured budget is that it naturally cures habit number 6, which is buying things on impulse. When every single dollar has a job, you just can't casually drop $50 on something you didn't plan for. So yeah, it's time to finally close out and completely abandon that 2 a.m. online shopping cart. Your future $10,000 self will definitely thank you for it. Section 4, defense, the emergency buffer. But what happens when life inevitably throws a curveball your way? Ignoring emergency savings is a catastrophic trap. It means you're living on a financial tightrope without a net beneath you. We must immediately swap that out and focus on building a dedicated emergency fund. Think of an emergency fund as your ultimate financial defense. These are cash reserves set aside specifically to cover unexpected emergencies. Because let's be real, putting a blown tire or a sudden medical bill on a credit card with a 25% interest rate, that is exactly what keeps people broke. Having this cash fund ensures that when a crisis hits, it's just an inconvenience and it doesn't completely derail your hard-earned progress toward that 10 grand milestone. Section 5, offense, expanding your cash. All right, so your defense is fully locked in, but you can only cut so many expenses, right? It's time for offense. depending entirely on a single income source leaves you highly vulnerable in today's economy if anything happens to that job. We contrast this highly risky habit directly with actively increasing your income. You have got to look for ways to multiply your cash flow. Whether you pick up a weekend side hustle, start a freelance gig online, or aggressively negotiate a raise at your current job, adding multiple streams of income dramatically accelerates your timeline. It's simple math. More income means a wider gap between what you make and what you spend, which means you hit that $10,000 milestone much, much faster. Section 6, the ultimate goal, investing. This brings us to the final frontier. The absolute worst wealth-killing habit of all is not investing. Inflation is like a silent tax that just eats away at your purchasing power daily if your money is just sitting idle. This habit has to be systematically replaced by investing your capital. But there is a very important caveat here. You must invest only after you have secured your initial savings and that emergency fund. Once the foundation is built, you deploy your cash to actually go to work for you. So the crucial takeaway is exactly what our source states here. Getting to this first $10,000 milestone is a total grind. For sure, it requires undoing years of bad programming and replacing it with real discipline. But it serves as the ultimate tipping point. Once you have that capital, compound interest takes over. That means your money starts making its own money while you sleep, finally doing the heavy lifting for you. Which leaves us with this final thought. Once you strip away these broke habits, once you automate your savings, stick to your budget, defend against emergencies, and secure that initial $10,000 foundation to invest, what incredible new realities will your wealth-building journey unlock for you? The blueprint is right here in front of you. The only question now is, what are you going to do with it today?